Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Victoria and this is Thyme and Tenderness. It is the first week of Bakeful November, and for this year, the first week's theme is Bread Week. If you are new here, once again, welcome. My name is Victoria, and every year for the month of November, I host a baking challenge, except for last year, because I had a baby. Are you going to be my baking buddy this year? Can you say hi to everybody? So this time last year, this little guy was just born and I did not have time to do YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, anything. I wasn't even cooking for myself. But he is a whole year old now and we are back into the swing of things with Bakeful November. So I thought we'd start off super simple and super easy this year and do a simple sandwich bread. I understand and I know from firsthand experience that so many people are struggling with inflation costs right now, and so many people are also looking to save money at the grocery store by making things from scratch at home. And one area in which you can save a couple of dollars is to make your own bread. So I have a recipe I'm going to be following and I will share it in the description down below. On Pinterest it says you can make a loaf of bread for 65 cents. I don't know if that's been adjusted for inflation recently, but we shall see. But I do know that you can get flour, yeast, everything to make bread at places like Aldi for less than $5. And a 5-pound bag of flour I think is around $2 at Aldi. You can make numerous loaves of bread with that, as well as with the packets of yeast available as well. So let's get started in making a super easy, super frugal loaf of sandwich bread. So I now have my apron on, I have my KitchenAid stand mixer here, and I have my sous chef here in the kitchen. He has more interest playing with the pots and pans on the lower cabinets than he does with baking bread today. And I apologize in advance if you hear him in the background. He is very hyper these days. Okay, so here are the ingredients that you need. We are going to need 1 cup of warm water. You want to heat the water to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 packet plus a ½ teaspoon of yeast, instant yeast, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Let's go ahead and get started in putting everything together.
When it comes to baking bread, one of my biggest tips is to always bloom your yeast first. All you do is take your water, sugar, and yeast and make sure your water is at about 110 degrees Fahrenheit and just let it sit for about 10 minutes. You'll know your yeast is active when you come back after those 10 minutes and you see that it has transformed into a bubbly, frothy soup. This will save you a lot of headache by doing that first. I have had so many home bakers direct message me on Instagram asking what went wrong, and usually it's because their yeast went bad. So if you go ahead and bloom your yeast first, you'll know it's good. After blooming my yeast, the recipe is pretty straightforward. I combine everything into my stand mixer with the dough hook attachment, and I just mix it until it is well combined into a smooth, soft ball of dough. You don't necessarily have to do this step, but I like to get my hands in there and really work the dough, and I like to knead it for a minute or 2. Once your dough is nice and smooth, I like to form it into a nice little ball. I like to give it a nice little tap, and then I'm going to transfer it so that it can rise. I really love using a wooden bowl as my bread bowl. It just adds a little bit of whimsy and aesthetic charm to my kitchen. You're going to cover your dough and let it rise in a warm place. I like to put it in my microwave and I let it rise for about an hour to an hour and a half, or until it's doubled in size, just like here. Once it's doubled, go ahead and punch it down as my son moves the camera here, and I go ahead and shape it again into a little ball. I am taking this dough and splitting it into 2 loaves. I've already greased some loaf pans, and I am going to shape the dough into what is roughly a red loaf shape, put it in the dough pans and let it rise again for a half an hour while the oven preheats to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After rising a second time, you'll notice that they have doubled in size again, and they are now the perfect size to go into your oven. I bake them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes or until nice and golden brown.
All right, friends, thank you so much for following along for week 1 of Bakeful November. I have made the loaves of bread, which not bad. I get 2 loaves of bread from a recipe that advertised making 1 loaf of bread for under $1. So I'm very pleased with how these turned out. I hope you guys learned something from this recipe. I think I've actually done this recipe here on my channel in the past, but it's been several years, so it is nice to have a bit of a refresher. I hope you guys join me next week for the second week of Bakeful November, which is going to be Cultures Week. Now, for Cultures Week, I am encouraging you to either tap into your own personal cultural roots and find something to bake from your own heritage or from a country that you're interested in. For me, I am of Puerto Rican descent, so I am going to be making flan next week. I hope you guys will join me again next week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!